The sustainability of electronics. Electronics are a part of everyday life in the United States. The average American household uses about 28 electronics products daily. But what happens to these electronics when they are no longer able to be used? Electronics are wasted. Landfills all over the world are filled with the remains of old electronics that people do not use anymore. This buildup of unused electronics across the world has led to wasted energy and material that could be reused and recycled. Through the use of recycling and refurbishing old electronics, we can reduce the amount of toxic chemicals exposed to the environment by not allowing raw materials from the earth to be harvested, not allowing landfills to become overrun with electronics, and by finding new ways to use old products. Americans produced more than 3 million tons of e-waste in 2015 alone. E-waste is the various forms of electric and electronic equipment that have ceased to be of value to their users or no longer satisfy their original purpose. This waste could be anything from phones, tablets, and computers to refrigerators, televisions, and other household appliances. E-waste is becoming an epidemic in the United States because of hyper-consumerism that is present in the country, causing more Americans to buy and more waste to be produced. This is the life cycle of electronics. It starts with raw materials such as oil, iron, gold, palladium, platinum, copper, and critical elements that are all used to make different types of electronics. Extracting these materials from the earth requires large amounts of energy and produces greenhouse emissions, pollutions, and a drain of natural resources. In this cycle, there are 3 possible options for what happens to electronics after they have exceeded their use: recycling, reusing and refurbishing, and putting electronics into a landfill. Only 2 of these are acceptable for the environment. If one were to recycle instead of throwing away their old electronics, it would allow for raw materials to be used again and for landfills to not be as filled, and therefore contribute to the shrinking amount of space for landfills. A refurbished product creates a new opportunity for someone to be able to purchase a phone for cheaper, and it also reduces electronic waste. Reusing old electronics to create new things like turning an old phone into a music player for a car or turning an old phone into a universal remote is also a way to help reduce e-waste. Although reuse and recycle might be the most common ways to reduce electronic waste, there are inexpensive alternative ways to reduce the amount of waste that is produced. Repairing, donating, and leasing old and new phones gives opportunities to multiple people to have new products without it actually costing the environment anything. By recycling and reusing products, Americans can reduce the amount of waste they produce and therefore make the earth greener.